Good morning and good afternoon to everyone who joined us today, and welcome to our Crayon and Veeam software webinar, Modern Data Protection in Action. My name is Daria Godgelf and I'm CE Marketing Coordinator at Crayon, and I will be your moderator today. And before we begin, I would like to say a few words about our Crayon and Veeam partnership. Over the past years, Crayon has built one of the most highly certified Veeam teams, with experts trained as Veeam certified engineers and architects. And we are proud to be a part of Veeam competency program and to support businesses in protecting their data. With that, I would like to move to our guests. And today we have four amazing speakers who will share their insights on how to secure your data, how to enable fast recovery, and how to accelerate with Veeam Data Cloud. And I'm happy to introduce our first speaker, Glyn Yates. Glyn is a VDC sales specialist for EMEA East at Veeam Software. And Glyn will talk about how backup as a service can simplify and strengthen protection against today's cyber threats. So Glyn, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Daria. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. As mentioned, my name is Glyn Yates. I am the Veeam Data Cloud specialist for EMEA East, covering 40 countries, spanning from East Europe, Africa, and across the Middle East. I'm joined today by one of our technical gurus, Michael Paul, who will be running through a demonstration of the VDC, Veeam Data Cloud platform, shortly. But while we talk about that, Veeam Data Cloud, I'm fortunate and very proud to work in Veeam. As an organisation, I've never known such a company and a technology provider that innovates, enhances capabilities for its whole platform and portfolio in such a short space of time. This year alone, we have 27 product releases, which means that our customers can continue to enjoy the trust Veeam provides them across a greater capability and technology stack. The latest and greatest, and I suppose the jewel in the crown for Veeam, is what we call Veeam Data Cloud, VDC for short. We all like a good acronym in technology, so Veeam Data Cloud. Veeam Data Cloud is a single portal that will stretch across multiple capabilities in a backup as a service platform. So a SaaS platform focusing on backup and cyber resilience. Today, we'll be focusing on two specific areas of that platform, being Microsoft 365 resilience and Entra ID resilience. Quite simply, they go hand in hand. But our aim and our goal is over time to expand this to cover all our products over the next 2 years, so we can offer a software-only model and a backup as a service model to our growing customer base. And why is this relevant? I don't need to go through these numbers on the screen. Every presentation, every webinar, seminar will tell you the same topics. The threat actors are increasing, the attack surface is increasing, the sophistication of attack is increasing. We hear horror stories every single day. I am from the UK, but based in the Middle East, and things like the Jaguar, Marks and Spencers, the Land Rover, they've all been Heathrow last week, and the airlines have all been attacked by ransomware. So with the advent of AI, it's accelerated the capabilities of the threat actors. So it's more and more relevant now to understand that it's not a case of if, but more likely when. So data resilience is key and critical to any organization's strategy. Let me just go back there. So why is it important when we're focusing on Microsoft 365 to enhance the data resilience? Well, this is a not widely known actually, but there is a Microsoft shared responsibility model when it comes to Microsoft 365 and Entra ID and other SaaS offerings that Microsoft put together. And it's quite interesting because while Microsoft do take full responsibility of providing the application, the availability, and the uptime, anything to do with the data is 100% the responsibility of the customer. Now, a recycle bin is not a backup strategy, as we know. So when it comes to data resilience, when it comes to data integrity, when it comes to data compliance, whether that's internal governance or external regulation, the ownership is 100% down to the customer. There's no support case that will save you if you've lost an important contract addendum in an email from 9 months ago, unfortunately. So resilience against the ransomware, malware, and deletion, accidental deletion, malicious deletion, and other data degradation capabilities is wholly important. So Veeam. It's great. I'm very proud, as I mentioned, to be Veeam. We all like a good analyst report. And here we are, the latest Gartner Magic Quadrant, which came out, I think it was just a couple of months ago now. And again, Veeam is in the top right-hand corner, seen as one of the leaders in the field. That also gives trust and confidence and assurance to our customers. However, as you can see, we're not the only player in the market. We're not the only vendor that is in the Magic Quadrant leader segment. However, one thing that is important to understand is compared to the others that may seem close in our leader segment, Veeam, when it comes to Microsoft 365, is by far and away the global leader in protection. We have over 25 million M365 users that we're protecting throughout our portfolio. This is actually about 4 times more than our closest competitor. Not only Gartner, but IDC, Forrester Wave, Cooper & Cole, everyone knows and states that Veeam is number 1 when it comes to Microsoft 365. And again, great for me to say it, but what this means to you, our customers, is that trust and assurance that we know things going on before anyone else and we're ahead of the game. A few of our customers, as we can see, in fact, Microsoft see us as their number 1 protector of their golden child. So they've actually entered into a 5-year innovation agreement with Veeam. So we're building capabilities, including AI and the integration with Copilot. And earlier this year, significantly, they actually invested in Veeam as a company. As again, we're not only number 1 now, the constant innovation and enhancements we bring to our platform means we aim to be number 1 for the near and foreseeable future. A few customers, as you can see on our deck, everyone's got great customers. We actually protect 80% of the Fortune 500. So again, from our roots in the SME space, all the way up to enterprise, government, and military applications we protect. But let's move on and focus really on what we're here to do today, which is to discuss Microsoft 365 and Entra ID in a backup as a service platform. So historically, what used to happen was there would be a software only capability. Veeam would provide software, or a vendor would provide software. The customer would have to provide all the infrastructure, the operational management, the ongoing support, and that could be quite costly. But what we've done now in a software as a service model is we've turned that on its head. Guys, the clicker is not seeing the screen. So we've taken that cost, all those dollar signs that you've seen, and we've rolled that up, and Veeam will take care of that. So we will provide the storage, we will provide the networking, we will do the security, we will do the operational, we will do the ongoing maintenance as a service. and serve to you, the customer, a simple user interface. We call one UE, one UI, and that one UI will be able to protect all your applications, but today focusing on 365. This is where you will create your backup policies, your role-based access control. It will give you the search capability. It will give you the granularity capability, the ability to define different user worker groups, workflows, define your RPOs, your RTOs, very, very comprehensive. You just worry about the backup strategies, put them into Veeam Data Cloud, and we'll worry about the backend and underlying infrastructure. And why is that important? Okay, so it's really important because with that underlying infrastructure, everything is included. When I say everything, it means unlimited storage. It also means unlimited retention. So that means you could, rather than paying for increased storage costs to support your infrastructure, it means that we will take on that responsibility. You do not have to worry about only retaining data for 5 years because you can't afford to retain it for 10. With Veeam Data Cloud, it is unlimited storage, whether you're protecting one gig or 5 petabytes. The price is the same, very simple per user. And whether you're retaining for 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, 12 years, forever, again, it's the very same simple pricing. Now, this is possible because Microsoft, about 8 years ago, brought out an API which allowed vendors like ourselves to extract and exfiltrate data from your Microsoft 365 tenant and do the interesting things at the back end and protect it. And this would give, historically, throttled by Microsoft and controlled by Microsoft, speeds of around and up to 6 terabytes per day, which compared to previous legacy models was quite advantageous when we looked at the unlimited storage or the SaaS-based model. But we also have customers that come and say, well, I need more than 6 terabytes a day. I've got highly critical workers, I've got highly critical workloads, and I need a greater resilience than an 8-hour or 24-hour RPO. So for the last 13 years of Microsoft 365, Microsoft have held behind that shared responsibility model. But that really wasn't helping the customers. So last year, they actually introduced a new API. Now, the new API was called Microsoft Backup Storage API. And this is about as technical as I get today. Okay, it provides a local snapshot of your Microsoft 365 live environment right next to your Microsoft 365 environment. Now, in its own and on its own right, it does have a lot of restrictions, and this is something from Microsoft capabilities. It has a retention period of 12 months. That's it. There's no granularity available. It is a bulk recovery or nothing. It does not cover teams, as you may know, and a main difference is it's charged on a per gigabyte basis. Now, for those that want to move away from bill shock to more consistent pricing, per gigabyte goes against that. But it did one thing very well, okay? And because it was local and snapshot next to the primary environment, it was quick. And so we can move, rather than 6 terabytes per day, we can move to 6 terabytes per hour. And for key critical workers, that's important. But luckily, Veeam was a launch partner through our relationship with Microsoft. And so we Veeamed as much as we can. So we now took this MBS, we embedded it into Veeam Data Cloud. We gave it some greater capabilities. We gave it greater role-based access control. We gave it greater capabilities around integration into the VDC platform. But we did another major change as well. So we changed the licensing on the fee structure for that capability from per gigabyte to unlimited. So now our customers can have the best of both worlds. They can have on an unlimited storage, unlimited retention basis, the granularity that is provided through our what we call flex capability, the granularity, the retention, the capacity, the search, the multiple limited capabilities, but also with the added speed and resilience that the MBS component can bring. And we called it premium. It really is the premium product on the market. And why is that important? Well, let's say you had or you became a victim of ransomware and you have 100 terabytes of data that you needed to recover quickly. Historically, that could take days. And we know of organizations like Garmin, for example, the activewear company, GPS activewear company, they took 3 days to get back up, and it cost them around $100 million in associated and intangible costs. But with the premium capabilities, we can cut that down to an absolute fraction of time. So we're talking from weeks and days to hours and minutes. And that's really critical when it comes to cyber resilience and recovery. VDC, really, really important. So VDC is a wide attack surface for our threat actors to attack, where Microsoft 365 is predominantly one application, Entra ID is the gateway to all your applications. So this not only in terms of configuration, human error, attack surface, and a recycle bin, an Entra ID will not be a useful resource for you. Some of the attributes in Entra ID do not go to the recycle bin, and the others are wiped after a certain amount of time. So again, primary reasons for backing up. You have the security threats, which is pretty prevalent, and I don't really need to go through that. Compliance is really strong in terms of governance, compliance, and regulation. Misconfiguration actually occurs far more than you would expect. And it's really simple because of all the associated relationships that Entra ID manages. We find that it takes between 2 and 3 weeks to find a misconfiguration and how it's affected other relationships throughout your organization. And during that time, your company is at risk. So vital to protect that as well. Okay, so so Entra ID is far more than just authentication. It really does manage the relationships between applications, users, and authority. It really, really is important. Standard, this would be with Microsoft themselves. As you can see, attributes that are covered, attributes that are not covered. All of these are critical and vital to your organization's operations and identity management, and then some items with their retentions. When we provide the protection with Veeam, then we can see that everything, all attributes are protected and retained forever. But one thing that is really important as well from a protection perspective is immutability. So immutability is the understanding that once a backup has been written, it cannot be amended, changed, or altered in any way. All backups that are done in BaaS with Veeam Data Cloud is immutable for the entire retention period. And again, a great requirement when it comes to compliance, regulation, and your own internal governance. So I hope that was informative. I hope that provided an understanding of the why now, and the why Veeam Data Cloud. As mentioned, when it comes to Veeam Data Cloud for 365 and Entra ID, by far and away the #1 leading capability and platform on the market. And before we move on to the demonstration by my colleague Michael Paul, I'd like to just open up and see if there's any questions from the floor at this stage. No? Great. Michael, over to yourself.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. So in a few moments, you will see my screen, and what we're going to do is we're going to have a live walkthrough of Veeam Data Cloud. I just want to give yourselves a high-level overview of the platform, some of its features, some of its capabilities, just so you can walk away hopefully a little more enlightened with what Veeam Data Cloud can do right now. So I wanted to start here with the sign-in screen because identity, as we just witnessed from Glyn, is a key part and parcel of when we think about any data protection solution. It is the access that we need to actually make sure we have all the keys to the kingdom, all the policies in force. So we support this in two different mechanisms. We support Entra ID single sign-on, and we also support a Veeam hosted authentication platform. Now, most of our customers, they love using Entra ID single sign-on. And why is that? Well, because this means that Veeam Data Cloud, from day one, you're not worrying about securing it. You're bringing it into your existing security framework. If you've invested in conditional access policies, if you've focused on using in-tune device compliance policies, if you have any logs that are being shipped to a SIM tool for all of your sign-in events, we integrate seamlessly into that experience. But it's more than that as well. It's things such as if you've got any self-service capabilities that you want, Veeam Data Cloud can offer self-service recovery for M365 data back to your staff. And again, you can be sure that they are who they are saying they are by signing in with corporate devices from corporate IP addresses, and crucially passing any and all conditional access policies you might want to bestow upon them. But we do understand that when we're dealing with Entra ID, we don't necessarily want to have what we call a catch-22 situation or a circular redundancy where I'm trying to recover my Entra ID, but I'm trying to sign in using Entra ID. So that's where we also have Veeam authentication, where we can still support things such as multi-factor authentication while still being completely segmented away from Entra ID. So because our session will have no doubt timed out while I've been sharing this, I'm just going to reload the page and we'll continue with Microsoft Authentication. So I'm just selecting into my account here, and we have the concept of multiple Veeam Data Cloud organizations. If you wanted to have completely segmented environments, I'm just going to dive into one of my colleagues' demo environments here. And what we'll then see is the Veeam Data Cloud overall dashboard. And this is showing the various different services that are available within the product today. And as Glyn was alluding to earlier, there's additional services that are being integrated in. We've got Microsoft 365, Entra ID, Salesforce, and something called Veeam Vault, which is our backup storage as a service offering. We do also support Veeam Data Cloud for Microsoft Azure. It's not presented in here yet because as we've been pulling these workloads into our unified experience, there's been much more going on than just a simple coat of paint. Behind the scenes of our One UI, as we refer to it, is a very powerful control plane. We spent some time at our keynote earlier this year discussing it, and it's available on our YouTube channel. It's worth checking out. But our control plane is actually presenting a huge amount of analytics and AI capabilities into these workloads. So rather than just presenting them from a single pane of glass, we're actually unveiling additional ways to put your data to work via intelligence and reuse and hardening your security posture. Now, with that out of the way, let's go have a look at Microsoft 365. So just choose to manage here. And the first thing you'll notice is I've not just gone into a tenant, I'm actually still at a service overview with this subscription at the top. This is because you might have multiple tenants. A common use case behind this is when we think about mergers and acquisitions, as an example. If you acquire another organization, if you merge with another organization, then until that acquisition or merger completes, it's two separate IT teams. But from the very day that completes, suddenly you're responsible for another IT organization. And that then means it has to be compliant with your policies, your standards. What we do within Veeam Data Cloud is have this concept of a pooled subscription. So if you do need to have multiple tenants, you don't need to worry about cutting and carving licensing between these various different tenants. Instead, we can just present that as a pool and you can consume it from wherever you need. So I'm just going to go into one of my colleagues' tenants here, and you'll then see the tenant level information. So what you'll see here is the number of users that we have and the amount of those users that are protected. You'll see any license variations over time. You'll see the amount of backup storage consumed, and even some insight into your M365 tenant, such as, okay, who in my M365 tenant is using the most OneDrive space, as an example. So with the dashboard out of the way, I'll just quickly show you the backup policies, and you'll see here it's a unified experience. So when Glyn was talking about our Express and Flex capabilities, you know, that ability to protect data in a very granular way versus the rapid restoration capabilities that we've got, they just exist as two job types. They don't have any conflict against each other. We can run both of those against an entire organization and everything runs great. If I select into any of my jobs, I can then see any backup history information here, and creating a new job is as simple as selecting new policy, choosing a job type, giving that a name. I would then choose who I want to protect or what groups I want to target. So I'm just going to say all company data, and I could just specify backup the entire organization. I could go more granular and I could say, look, I want to have a mailbox backup job. I want to back up everyone's OneDrives. If I, for example, wanted to target different data in different geos, I might target them via groups or other multi-geo capabilities that we have. So with that out of the way, I want to next show you that we have some powerful reporting capabilities. We're not here to look at some pretty PDFs, but we've got a report schedule, meaning that you can have those reports that you need to perform your day-to-day functions, such as who's been performing restores, touching my backup data, whilst you're getting your morning coffee, it's delivered to your mailbox, nice and easy. In terms of recovering data, there's going to be two key workflows that you're probably going to work against. One of those is, okay, I don't know where this data is that I'm trying to find. And the other is, okay, someone's told me roughly where that should be and I'll go find it. So for that first one, the I don't know where that data is, I can go into search, and we've got two different search modes. A very simplistic search where I just choose my service I'm looking against, whether it's Outlook, whether it's OneDrive. I then choose, is it a particular user? Am I searching against all of them? What point in time I think it's roughly from, and I just put in a keyword. You know, that might be the name of the file, that might be some word within the email subject. I kick off that search, we'll present the first 500 results, and there you go, you can perform a restore there and then. And we've got our advanced search capabilities. And again, similar flow, what service am I looking at? Am I scoping it to a certain user or everyone? And then I can get really granular with the metadata. I can look for an individual word within an email body. I can look if there are attachments or if the attachment contains certain data. I can build an advanced search out of many of these different attributes, kick off that search, and the more complex I make that, it might take minutes, it might take hours, especially if you've got terabytes or petabytes of data, but you don't need to sit and wait. We'll give you a notification when it's done, you come straight back in, and then you can browse your results. Now for a day-to-day restoration, this might be more of a help desk. Okay, I know roughly who the user is, where that data is, and we've got this really nice Explorer view where whether it's at the top level, selecting a mailbox, selecting multiple mailboxes, I can perform a restore. I can then go more granular into the inbox folder. I can have a look at individual emails. I can recover individual emails or in bulk. And you'll even see that I can do things such as previewing the body of an email. Now, that might be something that raises alarm bells for yourself, but don't worry, because what I'm showing you here is fully controlled by our powerful RBAC model. And I'm going to show you that more in a moment. But you can see here, I've got a nice little sandboxed view of my email. Okay. Now, if I go to perform a restore, you'll notice that at no point have I had to select Express or Flex. Instead, when I perform a restore, we check at that point in time if what we're trying to restore is going to be capable with our Express capabilities or with our Flex capabilities. When there's both, we will present to you the fastest option to get that data back. And where there's not, we will silently hide it. So you're just worrying about what you need to restore, not what technology is going to be best for my particular workflow. We have done that for you in advance to make it nice and simple. And then you'll notice if I go through OneDrive or SharePoint, it's a similar view experience no matter what. So it's nice and easy to access. And then if we really do have a bad day and we've had a cyber incident, we need to recover a ton of SharePoint, OneDrive, mailbox data, not a problem. We can target users, we could upload a CSV of those users, we could select a group containing those users, we could select different SharePoint sites, and then I can choose exactly what point in time I want to go to. Now, this is powered by our Express capabilities. So we've got 10-minute backup granularity, meaning that if my ransomware attack took place at 5:30 on a Friday, I can then say, okay, let's go to Friday, let's go to 5:25, apply that, and it will show me the nearest restore point at that point in time or just before. So I, as an organization, can lose just 10 minutes of data in that ransomware attack, and I can recover that using the fastest speeds available on the market, which is pretty phenomenal. Now, all of this accessing data, I mentioned at the very beginning about identity and how important that is. That's part of a proactive security posture. But we also need to consider what reactive security looks like. So if I go into activity, what you'll then see here is all of the data access that's taken place. You'll notice that when I showed you that email body, we have logged that here. You can see here I am, what I did against what data, and when exactly that took place. And then I can go in and view even more details around that. If there was a bulk restore that took place, I'll get a list of every single item that was being restored. Now, we don't have time to go through all the different actions, but just to give you an idea of context here, we're tracking what service it was, whether it was Outlook, whether it was OneDrive, whether it was SharePoint. We're tracking whether it was the entire mailbox or folders or file or files. And we're also tracking where that data was restored to. Was it back to where it came from? Was it to, say, another mailbox? Did someone download the data? And this audit log is immutable. You cannot opt out of this audit log. I always say, one of the best defenses against an insider threat is to have an audit that is accompanied with a clear communication policy as well. If your staff know that everything is being audited and it is immutable and they can't opt out, they are not going to be attempting to abuse any permissions that they have as part of that system, because it's not if, it's when they get found out. Okay. So the final thing I just want to show you around Microsoft 365 is our powerful RBAC model. So I can create a custom role here to fit my organization exactly as necessary. So for my example here, I'm going to specify first line help desk. I'm thinking of someone quite junior, a bit less experienced, a bit potentially more error prone. And when I build my RBAC policy, all you need to know is that by default, we have what's called implicit deny. We don't let you do anything, and you have to explicitly approve. This allows you to blend multiple permissions together and ultimately makes for a much more simpler experience when you're attempting to manage an organization. So I've got controls around whether I want to onboard additional tenants. No, I don't want that. I don't want first line to view the activity logs that are going on. I don't need them to see or manage any reports or dashboards. I'll let them view my backups. What this is referring to is my backup policies. I'll let them see if a backup job is taking place, but they can't manage it. And then data types such as SharePoint or Teams, because they impact entire teams of people or groups of people at once, I don't want first line help desk having access to that, because the impact if they make a mistake is wide reaching. I want to support my team. So what I will permit them is access to OneDrive, access to Outlook, and they're only going to be allowed to restore data back to that original location. That way there's no worrying about downloading data or sending data to the wrong place and having an internal data leak. It's secure by design. Now, in terms of allocating those roles, if I go to invite a user to my organization, I would put in their UPN here, and then I've got top organization level roles, whether I want them to have full admin across all my services or whether I just want to let them see those services but not edit anything. So I can give organization viewer, and then I'll add some Microsoft 365 specific settings here. So Microsoft 365 restore operator, and then I mentioned early on about having these multiple tenants. Well, what if I've got a merger or acquisition and suddenly I need to worry about, okay, well, I want the IT team that sits over that side of the fence, so to speak, the acquired company, to continue to look after their M365 while we work everything out, but they can't access mine. Well, that's fine. We can say you can only access these specific tenants, but we can go even further. We don't need to grant access to the entire tenant. If I'm thinking around that first line help desk scenario again, I don't want them accessing sensitive staff. That could be finance, that could be legal, human resources, senior management, and I can scope to only include users that are part of one or more groups as those people that this user can then help. The same with SharePoint sites and teams, I can scope that access as well. So it's really designed for a proactive and reactive security posture. Now, we're almost out of time here, but the last thing I just wanted to show you is with Entra ID. I'll dive into this tenant. Again, you'll notice it's a familiar experience. I've got this pooled subscription. I've got the dashboards that are specific to Entra ID. And something I want to leave you with is not all Entra ID protection is designed the same. When we think about Entra ID, you'll think about users, you'll think about groups, but Entra ID is so much more than that. We can think about administrative units, we can think about roles, applications, whether that's enterprise applications or whether that is app registrations, conditional access policies. It's also the logs that I mentioned early on that you might already be forwarding to a SIM solution. You know, the ability to protect these logs to make sure that we can capture exactly what has happened within your tenant for a much longer period of time than Microsoft will preserve. And we also have additional ways that you can interact with this data. So you'll notice that we have Veeam Intelligence here. This allows you to, at a glance, find out exactly what you need to know. We understand you have more to do with your day than just living in a backup portal. So we want to surface information to you. If you don't know how to perform a restore or to see what restores have taken place, put in a prompt for it. This is all custom trained on Veeam's documentation and insights, and we'll continue to add more information from your own environment into this. So you can ask it things such as, okay, are there any workload types that I'm not protecting, such as conditional access policies? You haven't enabled this, go tick this box. Fantastic. It will surface that information for you. So with that, I appreciate I'm very much at the time. So I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to demo this to you today. If you'd like to have a deeper dive, then ourselves here at Veeam and Crayon would more than welcome that opportunity to work with you. I'm just going to hand back over to Daria. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for showcasing Veeam Data Cloud in action. And that was a really impressive demo. And before we move to our next speaker, I would like to make just a quick announcement that at the end of this webinar, we will have our Q&A session where all our speakers can answer your questions. So feel free to drop your questions in the chat at any time during this webinar. We really appreciate it. So let's hear from Adrian Popescu. Adrian is a pre-sales lead and solutions architect at Crayon Romania. Adrian will share more about Crayon and Veeam cooperation and will highlight real-world case studies and key strategies. Please, Adrian, over to you.
Thank you, Daria. Thank you. Waiting a little. Okay, so the slides are there. First, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depending on where you are. I'm Adrian, cloud architect at Crayon. I have 20 years of experience in IT consulting, and I specialize in Microsoft technologies and also Veeam solutions. My career has been focused on helping organizations design and implement secure, scalable, and resilient cloud architectures. At Crayon Romania, I lead cloud strategy engagements, guiding customers through digital transformation and regulatory compliance initiatives. And that's very important. If you want to see me on stage, I will be presenting at Veeam Romania next week on Thursday. Short agenda overview. I will have a short introduction to Crayon. Who are we and how do we support our customers in their cloud journey? We will explore the strategic collaboration between Crayon, Veeam, and Microsoft and the value it brings to our customers. And also, I will have a real-world example on how Veeam technologies complement Microsoft investments in the way to enhance resilience against modern threats. We will also have an overview of the specific Veeam tools and capabilities leveraged by the customer. And of course, we will have a short Q&A session at the end. So I think the clicker, okay. Okay, now it's the correct slide on the deck. First, some words about Crayon. Crayon was established in Norway in 2002 with a small team of 6 people. It was initially focused on software asset management, and within 3 years, we expanded into the Nordics, entering the Swedish market. By 2009, our growth continued into continental Europe with operations in Germany. In 2015, that year marked a pivotal year of global expansion. We acquired Anglepoint, a California-based SAM company, and we are also listed on the Oslo Stock Exchange. In 2021, we accelerated our international presence through strategic acquisitions, including companies like Ripe in Australia and Sensa in Iceland. By 2025, Crayon reached more than 4,000 employees and expanded operations to 46 countries. And that solidified our position as a global leader in IT and cloud advisory. It's a small problem if I will ask our moderators to look into it, because the clicker skips some slides. Let me try to fix it somehow. I will talk about this slide because this slide on the screen. Crayon and Microsoft have a long-lasting strategic partnership that spans over 2 decades. And Crayon plays a key role as a Microsoft solution partner across multiple domains. And some core areas of partnership are: Crayon is a certified Microsoft solution partner that helps organizations adopt, optimize, and manage Microsoft technologies. And our services include software licensing and cost optimization, cloud migration and management, AI and data platform integration, security and compliance solutions. We also specialize in modern work and Microsoft Copilot, and we help customers in their journey of adopting Copilot. We offer advisory services to identify high-impact use cases, and we use and technical readiness and deployment support. We also have very important competencies in AI and machine learning, and Crayon was named Microsoft Global Partner for AI and Machine Learning, selecting among nearly 3,000 qualified applicants. We also been recognized for the Microsoft Sales Solutions Partner of the Year in 2024, recognizing our excellence in delivering Microsoft-based cloud solutions. Regarding our Crayon Veeam partnership, by 2025, Crayon has become the most certified Veeam partner in Romania, with a team that includes Veeam certified engineers and architects. And this reflects Crayon's excellence in its ability to deliver secure, scalable, and resilient backup solutions. Crayon also plays an important role in promoting Veeam's cybersecure program and incident response services, helping clients mitigate ransomware risk and ensure business continuity. Okay. I'm trying to get the correct slide. Speaking about the Veeam and Microsoft partnership, it started years ago, and this partnership deepened in 2025, making a strategic move to integrate AI and cloud technologies into data resilience solutions. And I will tell you just about a few points. in February 2025, Microsoft made an equity investment in Veeam. That signals strong confidence in Veeam's leadership in data protection and resilience. And this enhanced the broader collaboration to co-develop AI power solutions that enhance data protection, recovery, and insight generation. The partnership is focusing on embedding Microsoft AI services into Veeam's portfolio, and that includes threat detection using AI and machine learning, automated compliance and recovery reporting, faster data restores to minimize downtime, and protecting of data using AI models, including large language models and LLMs. Also about the cloud integration, we have the Veeam Data Cloud built on Microsoft Azure, which offers backup as a service for Microsoft 365 and Azure workloads. It uses the Zero Trust architecture, Azure Blob Storage, and policy-driven automation to secure, scalable, and cost-effective data protection. I also want to talk a bit, even if Glenn talked about the shared responsibility model, I just want to point some bullet points, because these are some examples that I will showcase a little bit later in our customer use case. The shared responsibility model is a fundamental concept in cloud computing, because and it's especially important in the public cloud, because it defines the division of the responsibilities between the cloud services provider, the CSP, and the customer to ensure security, compliance, and operation integrity. The main idea is in the public cloud, security and compliance are a shared responsibility. The provider is securing the infrastructure, while the customer secures their data, applications, and configurations. Now, depending on using IaaS, PaaS, or SaaS, the provider is responsible for physical security of the data center, networking, storage, compute resources, hypervisor and the virtualization layer, operating system. And the customer, it's responsible for the data. And, that's the most important part. It is also responsible for user access and identity management, and also is responsible for regulations and compliance with the regulations. And why that matters? It matters because misunderstanding this model can lead to security gaps. And customers must actively manage their part, yes, to avoid breaches or compliance failures. And I will explain in the following slides how the specific customer from the banking industry is achieving the shared responsibility model.
Adrian, maybe we can click slides for you.
It skip. Yeah, this is the correct slide because it's skipping for me. Okay, it's correct right now. So I want to dig a little bit better. Microsoft secures the cloud infrastructure, including physical data centers, network controls, and platform level services. It provides built-in security features like data encryption, multi-factor authentication, and compliance tools. It maintains the directory infrastructure, service availability, and baseline security. The customer is responsible for securing the data, identities, endpoints, and access control within their tenant. The customer must configure these security policies, manage user permission, and ensure data governance and compliance with internal and external regulations. The customer also manages identity lifecycle, role-based access control, conditional access policies, and monitors for suspicious activity. Also, data backup is the customer responsibility. And next slide, please. Okay, let's go to the customer story. The customer is located in Europe, industries, finance services, and the number of employees exceeds 5,000. The customer was facing several challenges. Yes, the email system has been growing significantly. The Microsoft 365 reduces the need for on-premises infrastructure, but its built-in backup does not fully meet the strict data protection requirements, the bank needs to meet DORA, the Digital Operation Resilience Act. The data needs to be protected against ransomware and other cybersecurity threats. The solution is Veeam Data Platform to protect more than 2,000 virtual machines. Veeam Data Cloud for Microsoft 365. Glenn talked about that. Veeam Data Cloud Vault, and Veeam Custom to protect the Kubernetes environment that are located in Azure. The outcomes that were achieved. So the bank achieved the 3210 rule, 10 years of data retention with unlimited storage, and it controlled cloud spending. It also reduced the Kubernetes migration from days to hours. Next slide, please, Daria. Now, if you look at the high-level architecture, we have the following components. We have, as a base, as a foundation, we have the backup and replication for Hyper-V. We have the Veeam backup for Microsoft 365. We have the integration with Azure and Azure serving as a backup repository. We have also the on-premises disaster recovery, DR site, that is also orchestrated by Veeam. And also we have Veeam Custom to protect the Kubernetes services. Next slide, please. Now let's see how this customer is achieving compliance with DORA using Veeam software. And I just picked some articles. So Article 9, protection and prevention. They have implementation of robust ICT controls. They ensure data availability, authenticity, and integrity. They utilize immutable storage via hardened repositories on premises. They employ AI and machine learning. The malware detection is AI and machine learning empowered for proactive defense. For Article 10, the detection, ransomware and anomaly detection capabilities, where they have advanced AI machine learning engines to identify the zero threats. They have automatic remediation protocols for rapid response, and they have continuous monitoring through Veeam One alerts. For Article 12, backup and recovery, they have policy-driven backup strategies, alignment compliance. They have verified backups with the immutability for data protection, and they have fast recovery times ensuring low RPO and RTO. And of course, they have comprehensive protection for Microsoft 365 and Entra ID. Next slide, please, Daria. Okay, because this customer is using a lot of Kubernetes services in a case in Azure, I want to talk a little bit about what Veeam Custom is and how it's helping this specific customer. For the people that don't know, Veeam Custom is an enterprise-grade backup and disaster recovery solution for Kubernetes environments. It's purpose-built for cloud-native workloads, containers, and microservices, and it simplifies data management, compliance, and application mobility. Some key features are automatic backup and restore, protecting the entire Kubernetes applications, including persistent data and configurations. It has application mobility because it can migrate to workloads across clusters, clouds, and on-premises. It has policy-driven automation via flexible backup policies, scheduling, retention. For the security and compliance part, it has encryption, role-based access control, audit logs, and immutable backups. It supports multi-cloud and hybrid, and it has hybrid support because it works with AWS, with Azure, with Google Cloud, with VMware, and on-premises. And it has easy integration, supports Helm operators, and integrates with DevOps pipelines. The key benefits are that there are rapid recovery from ransomware or accidental losses, simplified operators for DevOps and IT teams, and scalable protection for dynamic Kubernetes environments. Next slide, please. As a high-level architecture, we have the custom K10 platform. That's the central management plane for backup, restore, disaster recovery, and application mobility. We have the Kubernetes clusters. K10 is deployed as a set of containers. It protects applications, persistent volumes, and configurations. We have the data sources. We have the application and persistent data. We have the policy engine. That's policy-driven automation for backup, retention, and disaster recovery. We have the storage target, and the backup repositories can be S3 compatible storage for AWS, Azure Blob Storage, Google Cloud Storage, and on-premises S3 storage, and also NFS and our other cloud storage. It also has the integrations with identity and access, and monitoring and security via encryption, immutability, and audit logs. And of course, you have the user interface that can be a web UI or a command line interface via REST APIs for automation and DevOps integration. Next, please. Some final notes right now. Veeam is more than backup. It's more than cyber resiliency, and thanks to the strategic partnership with Cover and CrowdStrike, Veeam delivers proactive threat mitigation and recovery. It's about hybrid from on-premises to multi-cloud agility, supporting all major platforms, including Microsoft Azure, AWS, and Google Cloud. Veeam, it's about virtualization and migration, seamlessly integrating with VMware, Hyper-V, Nutanix, Proxmox, and others to come. And ultimately, Veeam is resilience, security, and data protection, and recovery in one place. Next, please. This is my thank you slide, but I want to add something because we skipped some slides because of the clicker not working. We are excited to invite you to the Veeam on Tour Bucharest on Thursday, October 9, where innovation will meet resilience in data protection. Please visit the Cryon and Software Run booths because where you can explore technologies and connect with our experts. And we are proud to be a Veeam Platinum partner for 4 years. And that's showcasing our commitment to excellence and our continuous growth. And we look forward to see you there together. Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian, and thank you for sharing those practical insights. I know that in Romania you have a really big community around Veeam software. So
yes, indeed.
Kudos to you. So we are receiving a lot of questions already, so I encourage you to stay till the end of this webinar to be able to hear your answers. And I encourage you also to continue to ask your questions in the chat. And yeah, our final presentation is from Lunga Newman. Lunga is a security solution architect at Cryon MIA. And Lunga will discuss best practices for building a resilient data protection strategy with Cryon and Veeam. And please, Lunga, the floor is yours. Sorry, Lunga, I think you're muted.
I was sorted after 5 years of working remotely that we'd get this sorted. Thanks, Daria. Welcome, everyone. My name is Lunga Newman, and I'm based in Cape Town in South Africa. And today I'll share how Cryon and Veeam can help you build a modern data resiliency strategy. And it's a strategy that we tailored for businesses across Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. And so this is especially relevant in a time when data is not just a business asset, it's a regulatory and reputational concern. This will be a practical session that will focus on challenges, best practices, and how we can support your journey. So the topics that we will cover during this session, next. would be the key challenges in data protection, why data resilience matters, the compliance and standards, international compliance and standards, industry standards that governs data, principles of a resilience strategy, and data resilience by Veeam. And then the last three slides will focus on blueprint for data resilience strategy. Next. So let's start with reality. Ransomware is the leading cause of IT outages worldwide. Attackers are not just encrypting production systems, they're also targeting backups too. At the same time, most organizations now run hybrid environments. It's a mix of on-premises, cloud, and SaaS. And this complexity creates more entry points for attackers and makes recovery harder. Compliance is non-negotiable for enterprises, especially with local data sovereignty laws. And downtime is expensive. Studies show that the average cost of downtime can reach thousands of dollars per minute, not to mention reputational damage and compliance penalties. My colleagues have made reference to some incidents of compromise. So the question is really how do we protect data and ensure business continuity in this environment. Next. So why data resilience matters? Data is the lifeblood of the organization. Without data and credible and trusted data, operations stop, customers lose trust, and revenue suffers. Business continuity, it's not just about having backups. It's about recovering quickly and securely when something goes wrong. That's why we talk about data resilience, not just backup. And resilience means having a strategy that combines technology, processes, and governance to withstand attacks and to recover fast. Next. Compliance is a major driver for data protection strategies. ISO 27001, it sets the global standard for information security management, while ISO 27701, it extends this to privacy. The NIST cybersecurity framework provides a structured approach to governance, protection, and recovery. And then we have regional laws like GDPR in Europe, Saudi Arabia's National Cybersecurity Authority, the Essential Cybersecurity Controls, the UAE's Federal Decree, the Law Number 45 of 2021 on the protection of personal data. And in South Africa, the Protection of Personal Information Act that requires strong technical and organizational measures. Crayon ensures your Veeam implementation aligns with these standards, reducing compliance risk and audit headaches. Next. So the principles of a resilient strategy, and as had been mentioned previously, the data resilience is about ensuring your business can recover quickly and securely. So the first principle is look at data availability to ensure your critical data is accessible by using redundancy, for example, replication across regions and high availability architectures. Data integrity to protect your data from unauthorized modification by implementing checksums, hashing, and immutability features, which had been mentioned, especially in the demo by Michael. Data confidentiality to apply zero trust principles and least privilege access. We have backup and recovery for regular automated backups, to test recovery processes frequently to ensure that your recovery time objectives and recovery point objective targets are met. Cybersecurity integration, we must use immutable backups and air-gapped storage for ransomware defense. Compliance and governance, this principle requires us to maintain audit trails and data classification for sensitive information. Continuous monitoring and testing requires us to conduct regular resilience drills and tabletop exercises. And then finally, we have scalability and adaptability that's designed for growth in evolving threats. We'll leverage cloud native resilience features like auto-scaling and distributed storage. Next. So data resilience by Veeam. Veeam is a global leader in modern data protection. Their platform is trusted for its reliability, its flexibility, and its security. Whether you're backing up virtual machines, physical servers, or cloud workloads, Veeam ensures a fast recovery, ransomware protection through immutable backups, and compliance-ready reporting. It's a solution that's built for today's hybrid environments. And Veeam provides comprehensive data resilience for hybrid multi-cloud and SaaS data. So Veeam's position on data backups, Veeam offers automated intelligent backup solutions that seamlessly adapt to a wide variety of platforms, including on-premises, cloud, and hybrid environments. And Veeam's flexible architecture allows for rapid integration with new technologies. So your backup strategy keeps pace with evolving business needs. Around data recovery, with Veeam, organizations can create robust recovery plans that are rigorously tested and automated for reliability. The platform's intuitive interface streamlines the recovery workflow, enabling quick response times and minimal downtime. With data reportability, Veeam enables effortless movement and storage of data between different environments, such as public clouds, private cloud, and on-premise infrastructure. And this empowers organizations to avoid vendor lock-in and maintain full control over their data, ensuring operational flexibility and future-proofing. And this has always been a challenge with many organizations need to make a decision on moving to the cloud or not, on how they can maintain control over their data. And data security, with leveraging a zero trust approach, Veeam incorporates advanced security measures that protect data from unauthorized access and monitor for threats and enable rapid response and recovery in case of breaches. Features such as immutable backups and MFA strengthen defenses against ransomware and other cyber attacks, ensuring both proactive protection and robust incident response capabilities, and not forgetting the role-based access control, which was demonstrated by Michael earlier. And around data intelligence, which also was demonstrated, Veeam integrates AI-powered analytics to automate the monitoring and assessment of backup and recovery operations. These intelligent insights help organizations optimize decision-making and identify potential vulnerabilities and enhance overall data security posture. Next. So the next 3 slides, we're going to be looking at building how you can build a blueprint. This is a blueprint for data resilience strategy. Step 1 is to assess and to classify your data. So Crayon and Veeam propose this comprehensive data resilience journey, detailing how we identify gaps in backup and recovery, architect and deploy resilient solutions with Veeam's platform, and integrate seamlessly with leading cloud providers, as has been mentioned, Azure, AWS, GCP, and provide ongoing management, optimization, and team enablement to ensure robust future-proof data security with Crayon. We begin by identifying the critical workloads, so your VMs, your databases, your SaaS apps like Microsoft 365 that need protection. We use Veeam's data classification and reporting tools like Veeam One to understand what data you have and its importance. And then we define the recovery time objective and recovery point objectives, targets for each workload. Veeam supports granular recovery options, so you can align these objectives with business needs. Next. So the second step, design and implement, we design in architecture and meets those requirements while considering compliance obligations like GDPR and other legislation. We apply the 3-2-1-1-1-0 rule with Veeam, 3 copies of data, 2 media types, 1 offsite, and 1 immutable or air-gapped, and 0 backup errors that was verified. We encrypt backups in transit and at rest and enforce role-based access control for zero trust. And immutability, as has been mentioned numerous times, is critical. This ensures that backups cannot be altered or deleted, even by an admin or an attacker. We enable immutability with hardened repositories and S3 object locked to protect against ransomware. We use Veeam backup and replication for automated backups and replication across on-prem and cloud. And then test recoverability with Sure Backup, which automatically validates backups in an isolated environment. Next. The last step on monitor, test, and involve. So you can use Veeam One for continuous monitoring, anomaly detection, and compliance reporting. You can schedule automated recovery drills with Sure Backup to ensure RPO compliance, and adapt your strategy as threats evolve and regulations change. Data resilience is not a one-time project, it's an ongoing process. Veeam's ransomware protection features like secure restore, scan backups for malware before restoring. And finally, governance obligations are fulfilled through regular reporting for compliance audits, mapping controls to frameworks like ISO 27001, NIST, CSF, and local laws, and documenting processes for accountability and transparency. We maintain governance by leveraging Veeam's reporting for audits and regulatory compliance. Next. So lastly, this is a call on our clients. Let's build together. Crayon is more than a technology partner. We are a strategic partner. We help organizations assess their current data protection posture, align with regulations like the Europe's GDPR, Saudi Arabia's NCA ECC, the UAE's federal decree, law number 45, and Qatar's NIA, and design strategies that are tailored to your business goals. Our strength lies in our consultative approach and deep regional expertise. So let's start with assessment and consulting. We assess your current backup setup, identify risk and compliance gaps. We tailor solutions to address your requirements, ensuring effective compliant data protection without unnecessary extras. Next, we look at cost optimization. Crayon uses its Veeam licensing expertise to ensure you're only paying for what you need, identifying and eliminating unnecessary costs, and consolidating licenses and recommending flexible pricing options for maximum value. Our managed service takes the hassle out of backup management. Our experts oversee daily operations, health checks, and recovery tests, letting your IT team focus elsewhere while you're ensuring your data is always secure and recoverable. Finally, with cloud integration, we seamlessly extend your Veeam backup to public, private, or hybrid cloud environments, enabling secure, compliant, and cost-effective offsite backups, disaster recovery, and data mobility. Next, herewith I thank you for your time, and I thank you for your support.
Yeah, thank you, Lunga, too, for this insightful presentation. And before we start the Q&A session, I would like to ask our attendees to share their feedback. You can use the link which was just pasted in the chat or scan the QR code. I think our moderator can show the QR code now on the screen. Yes, so please just scan the QR code and share your feedback. It will take only 2 minutes of your time, and we really appreciate your input. Now we can have a look at our questions, which we collected over the past hour. I think we collected really great ones from the audience. So yeah, let's jump into the Q&A session. Yeah, we have a question for Glenn. Glenn, could you please share how complicated the licensing model is?
Yeah, great question, actually. Well, it's really, really simple and not complicated at all. At Veeam, we try and provide the most capabilities in a very transparent manner for cost consolidation and continuity of an understanding. So for Veeam Data Cloud, for Microsoft 365 and Entra ID, irrespective of what type of work you are, how much retention you require, how much capacity you require, it's a simple per user pricing. So you can have confidence that as your data in the back end grows, your costs will not. As we showed, we have two primary flavors for Veeam Data Cloud. We have our Flex, and we have our Premium, which provides that extra resilience for key and critical workers. The two can be mixed, and we generally tend to find that an organization will provide and provision around between 10 and 20% of their workers they designate as key and critical, and for those they will provision the Premium capability with that extra resilience, and for everyone else, just the standard Flex, which provides unlimited everything as well. So we're very non-modular. We do not charge for extra capabilities. So very, very simple. Thank you for the question.
Yeah, thank you for answering that. I think it's more clear now for our attendees. Yeah, we have a question for Michael, actually. So the question is, if I'm already backing up Active Directory, why do I need to protect Entra ID? Michael, please.
Okay. Well, thank you for the question. So Active Directory and Entra ID, despite there being synchronization tools that let them work together, they are two completely different identity platforms. I've been involved in incident response scenarios where Active Directory has been completely blown away, the latest backup being a few months old and having to reseed from Entra. But, scare stories aside, Entra, as I mentioned in the demo, is much more than just users, and that's what we think about when we are syncing AD into Entra. Things such as role assignments, applications, conditional access policies, they are all Entra native. So protecting that where they live to be able to restore it as quickly as possible is key to a comprehensive data protection defense there. Thank you for the question.
Yeah, Michael, while you're here, we have another question for you. Thank you for your answer, but your demo really rocked today. So we have another question from our audience. Do you support Azure services, the likes of Microsoft Fabric, Microsoft DevOps, Workspaces, also for Entra? Does it back up also my policies and app registration in respect to their certificates?
So with regards to Azure services, there are some we protect and there's more we're protecting all the time. We have a multi-year roadmap that we have set out, which of course I'm not going to share in this webinar, but we have a strong strategy to make sure that we can protect in the most comprehensive of ways across Azure and wider Microsoft and other vendors. Depending on how interested those features are specifically, potentially that's the kind of under an NDA, a roadmap session we could kind of have. Nothing publicly announced on particularly, Fabric and DevOps today. Talking about, policies and app registration, if you're okay, just to repeat that second half of the question for me there,
yeah,
just
sure,
to make sure
sure.
I capture it all.
Does it back up also my policies and app registration in respect to their certificates?
So policies, yes, we protect in things like conditional access policies. And again, we've got more that we'll be bringing out even before the year is out. Watch this space. We've got some more announcements coming soon. With regards to the certificates, that is an interesting one. And honestly, every customer asks me this question. And the answer is no, we can't protect those certificates. But the reason why is interesting, which is why I mention it. So certificates and secrets, Microsoft will not let you access that data programmatically. We're using the Graph API. We are not impersonating your users. We are accessing it as an application. And it's quite a big security risk if an application could sit there and read all of your secrets, all of your certificates, to then back that up. One of the tricks we do, however, to help mitigate some of this is if the application still exists in the recycle bin, when we're restoring the rest of that content for it to bring it back to a consistent state, if we reuse that app registration or that enterprise app and that certificate or that secret still exists, we can absolutely re-leverage it. However, depending on the scenario, you might want to rotate that anyway. But great question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Lawrence, actually, for this question. Yeah, we have more questions for Michael, but I would like to jump into another speaker. And yeah, Adrian, here is the question for you, actually. How is the Veeam Microsoft partnership helping Crayon customers enhance their data protection strategies, especially in hybrid and multi-cloud environments? Wow, okay.
Thank you, Daria. The Veeam Microsoft partnership is a game changer for Crayon customers because it allows us to deliver robust, scalable, and cost-effective data protection solutions that are integrated with Microsoft technologies. For example, Veeam's native support for Microsoft 365 ensures that our customers can protect their email, SharePoint, OneDrive, Teams with ease. And that's critical in today's compliance-driven landscape. On the infrastructure side, we have the Veeam integration with Azure that enables Crayon to help customers leverage their cloud-based backup repositories and disaster recovery solutions without complexity. This means faster recovery times. This means reduced on-premises storage costs, and this means enhanced business continuity. Not the least, the partnership empowers us, Crayon, to offer custom solutions that combine Veeam's powerful data protection with Microsoft trusted cloud ecosystem. And that's giving our customers peace of mind and the flexibility to grow securely.
Great answer. Thank you, Adrian. Yeah, we have questions also for Lunga, actually two. I think we can address them both. So first question will be, how does Veeam handle ransomware, Lunga?
Yeah, thanks for that question, Daria. Veeam handles ransomware by focusing on prevention, protection, and rapid recovery in years out. So firstly, with immutable backups, Veeam supports immutable storage on-prem and in the cloud, which means that backups cannot be altered or deleted for a defined period, even by an admin or an attacker. Air-gapped and offline copies using the 32110 rule. Veeam ensures that at least one copy is offline or air-gapped, reducing the attack surface. And end-to-end encryption. Data is encrypted in transit and at rest, preventing unauthorized access. With automated recovery testing, where Veeam's Sure Backup verifies that backups are recoverable, so you know you can restore quickly. And this instant recovery. So if ransomware hits, Veeam can restore entire VMs, databases or files in minutes, minimizing downtime. So in short, yes, Veeam assumes breach and builds resilience into every layer of your backup strategy.
Thank you, Lunga. Yeah, and we can jump to the second question. How quickly can we recover after an incident?
So as I've just mentioned now, and Michael has also mentioned, where previously with legacy recovery processes and solutions, it can take companies days, depending on the amount of data. With Veeam, you can cut it down to minutes, up to a few hours, and you'll be back up and running.
Yeah, that's a really rapid recovery. Yeah, great. Thank you for your answer. So one last question is for Michael. Yeah, I think your demo was really insightful. So we have one question. How does Veeam address data residency requirements? Specifically, can we control where backup data is stored? Is it possible to ensure data remains strictly within EU data centers for compliance? Yeah, this is the question for Michael.
Well, the short answer is yes and yes. That's fine, but let's give a bit more detail. So if you were to undertake Veeam Data Cloud, for each service, you would choose which data center you want that to regionally exist within. So when I onboard a tenant, so you might have missed it during the demo because I didn't spend too much time calling it out. But as you add a tenant, you will then choose that geography that you want to protect that data within. So within my demo environment, I had UK South as a region. Now we're using Microsoft Azure to power the backbone of Veeam Data Cloud. We support over 21 regions globally between M365 and Entra ID. Different services also have different data centers because there's different technologies that we use, and so there's going to be different dependencies. But absolutely, we have a very strong presence across EMEA, you know, whether that is UK, whether that's Germany, France, Italy, Switzerland, Sweden. Then we've got out in the Middle East as well, we've got like UAE as examples, and that's not an exhaustive list, okay? So there's many different places you can choose to store that data. We support storing data within multiple regions, so depending on where you choose to target your data, even if you want to have data within Europe, but you also separately want to have data that's within America or APJ, that's not a problem to us. We can house that data wherever you need to. And that is an end-to-end process. That is the compute that is fetching that data from Microsoft and that is the storage that we are residing that data within. So end-to-end processing within the data center you choose.
Thank you, Michael. Yeah, this was our Q&A session, and thank you all for your engagement and for your answers. And thank you to all our attendees to join us today. Big thank you to our speakers, Clean, Michael, Adrian, and Lunga. Thank you for sharing your expertise and your insights on building resilience, simplifying backups, and protecting critical data. Big shout out to our partner, Veeam Software. Thank you guys for making this happen and for your support. So we have a really good news for our attendees. I know there was a questions whether the recording will be shared. The recording will be sent to you shortly after this webinar. And once again, I would like to encourage you to share your feedback via link in the chat. And we have also a fantastic opportunity to all our attendees to book a free consultation with our local experts. So please use the link in the chat or just scan the QR code on the screen and get a personalized consultation tailored to your needs. With that, thank you again for spending these 90 minutes with us. It was a real pleasure to moderate this webinar. So stay secure, stay resilient, and have a wonderful day. Bye.